Is Apple Maps better than Google Maps, and should we be using it for GeoGuessr? Well, first of all, let's take a look at what's actually on Apple Maps, which as you can see is really not much. Apple really only has extensive coverage in Europe, but even within Europe, the Balkan region completely untouched besides Greece. We're looking at the UK, and besides like the London area, and for some reason up here near Edinburgh, not much there either. And look at the USA, it's an absolute ghost town. You really only have coverage in the big metropolitan areas of the US, and for some reason also California. Now, I guess that kind of makes sense because the Apple HQ is in California, so maybe they just covered their home state, I suppose. Take a look, here we actually are in the Apple look around, and the quality, guys, it's not that great. Now, this might be some of the first coverage they got because I guess they tested it right outside their HQ, potentially. But compared to Google Street View, this is not looking as good. Here's that same location in Google Street View, and you can just tell it just looks a little bit more crisp. It looks a bit more clean, and I do prefer the Google Street View imagery. Now, Apple Maps is definitely built for the iPhone, and so is Apple Look Around, to the point where it's actually really difficult to actually get into Apple Look Around from the PC. And considering the US is the country that sells the most iPhones out of any country, it is a little strange that the coverage is not extensive like it is, for example, in Canada. Now, we gotta acknowledge that Google did have a pretty massive head start. I think it was potentially 10 to 15 years before Apple Look Around even became a thing that Google has been around. So of course they're gonna have more coverage. I think the experience is smoother on the iPhone. The one thing Apple Maps does have is that's a cool animation right there when you go from one panorama to the next. But on PC, I mean, this just does not look better than Google Maps, unfortunately for them. Now, I have no idea if the API even allows Apple Look Around to be used in a game like GeoGuessr or OpenGuessr, but as of right now, it doesn't even matter because Google Street View is just much better. Maybe that will change in the future if Apple Look Around continues to pump out some better updates, but as of right now, Google clears.